We are live today with Wednesdays with Whitney. I'm Whitney, and my illustrious guest this evening, afternoon, wherever we are, I've been up since 5:30, is Emily Abbas, and she is the lead marketing director for Bankers Trust right here in Des Moines. So thanks for coming today, Miss Emily.
Thanks for inviting me. This is fun. This is my first Facebook Live.
This is her first Facebook Live. We're doing it together. I'm very honored.
Thank you.
So today we're going to talk about a lot of marketing. We're going to talk a little bit about banking. We're going to talk a little bit about Bankers Trust. But really, whenever I think about meeting people in Des Moines, because I did move back, not recently anymore, but I was thinking about how we met, and we honestly could not figure it out. And we met through a series of people, but I remember the past CEO of Bankers Trust, Suku, was one of my very first headshot clients.
Yes.
He actually came to, when I was doing headshots in my mom's house with just foam core boards and window light. And he came over to the house. I think he was like headshot number 2. He brought his beautiful wife, Mary.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, how we ended up meeting, was through that beautiful grapevine.
I think so. I think he told me about the experience and how he wanted to support a up-and-coming young businesswoman, and showed me your pictures, and they were amazing.
So I think that just goes to show at a very ground level, a lot of things we're going to talk about with Bankers Trust and marketing today is that Suku showed up in my mom's living room to make this happen, and then we've started this relationship. So when I really got working with Bankers Trust was during your centennial year, which was amazing.
Yes, 2017 was fun.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. I always knew, or we knew, even 3 years before when I started this job, that 2017 would be an amazing year. Not very many banks turn 100, especially with the same name and the same local ownership. So we knew it was something we really needed to celebrate.
That's pretty incredible. So tell me about all of the components of the centennial. I was just a very, very small part of this, but you guys, I mean, I just felt like you were out and about and in the community, and all of your team was on point and around all of the time. Tell me about this.
Sure. So, being loud and proud in the community is part of who Bankers Trust is.
Really
That's why we're a community bank. We want to live and work and support the communities where our customers live. I would say we amped that up just a little bit during 2017 for our centennial, but we did it in a lot of the same ways. So through employee volunteerism, through supporting local nonprofits, through lifting up our customers, and just having a little more fun too than just promoting typical banking products.
Well, and that's where I got to come in. I was lucky enough to be the photographer for your Stories of Trust. So I got to meet, I think it was Scott Valbert and I would go out on these shoots, and it was about once a week there for a while because you guys were building these in advance. And I got to meet a different either employee of Bankers Trust, a longtime member of Bankers Trust, business members of Bankers Trust. I got to meet all of these people. And the stories, because I mean, photography, storytelling, like those two things go hand in hand. But people were enamored with their bank, and like they wanted to be there. When the call went out, like, hey, can we photograph you for Bankers Trust? People were like, yeah. And the passion that I saw from everybody that participated in those photos, it was staggering.
Yeah, we were blown away. I mean, that was really one of our lessons learned through our centennial, is the importance of storytelling. Whether it's our employees and why they give back and why they love working at the bank, or customers and how the bank or their bankers helped them over time. And you and Scott were a great duo, and you really uncovered those stories and made it personal, because that's what banking really is about. We've got to make it personal.
I remember going to the Phillips house, and it was a hot day, like we've been having, like just this crazy. And I showed up, they offered me water, brought me into their home. Scott and I were like instantly sweating. They looked amazing. And we're just, we're being invited into their houses, and they're telling stories, and they immediately just launched into how amazing Bankers Trust is. And at the time I was with another bank, and I've got to be honest, through the centennial process, I reached out to Jacinda, who's now my personal banker, and
shout out to
like,
Jacinda.
Hi. And I was like, so I need to hear more about this, because all of these people have such good things to say. So that was my process, the start to my personal process with Bankers Trust.
We appreciate you being a customer.
I love it. So what are some of the other things you learned through this Centennial process? Because it was huge.
Sure, and they're probably fairly obvious things. So beyond making sure that we continue telling great stories, I think we learned that let's involve our employees. Let's tell them first so they feel like insiders and they understand what's going on. But our team's got great ideas. So one of the fun things we did when we launched was we gave every team member $100 to give and $100 to keep. So they got to keep $100. Surprise! Who doesn't want $100? Spend it on anything they want. But even more important, we gave them $100 to give. And then we gave them a list of many, many, many nonprofits in their community and said, you designate where this goes.
That's incredible.
And we had a lot of great insight on how to do that. And almost 100% of our employees participated. And some things we learned. So guess what charity was the #1 nonprofit that got?
Oh, I have no idea.
Animal Rescue League.
Oh, wow. I mean...
Amazing organization. We both are dog lovers.
Yes.
But not an organization that the bank had a great, or had ever done much with or supported. And so that was a big eye opener. And now we're doing a lot more with that organization.
Well, now you know that your employees are really invested in that organization. So if you say, hey, we're going to get behind this. And I love anytime I like to do the same thing with the people that are on my team. Like, what do you guys want to do? Because if just one person is deciding where the ship sails, like it's really hard to get there.
Every branch had an event. Actually, we're doing branch events again this summer. First ones are tomorrow, so free lunch. Go visit your Bankers Trust over lunch tomorrow and get some great. We've got 3 branches tomorrow.
Awesome.
And we are doing financial literacy tips. So come get 15-minute finances and just some really quick tips from our experts there. So again, something we continued. So the importance of involving employees was one. And then the last one was just the importance of having an overall theme that tied our work together. So 100 years of trust was our theme. And everything we did from a marketing communications standpoint tied back to that. So we've just launched a new campaign, the Bankers Trust Difference. And you may have seen our first ad has been sneaking out a little bit. It says the difference between hoping and trusting. But there's,
I think we have
this. To you. So let me read it to you. So sure, hope is a good thing. But when it comes to banking, you want to do more than hope you've made the right choice. You want to trust that your bank is committed to getting to know you and building a strong, long-lasting relationship. You want the confidence that comes from working with a bank that's as committed to your financial security as it is to the communities it serves. And earning your trust is something Bankers Trust has done for more than 100 years, and it's the difference you can count on every day. And so first print ad is difference between hoping and trusting, but I think you're going to start seeing some more of these popping up all over. And while we're teasing with some text ads, they're quickly going to incorporate our employees and the customers that they serve and the great relationships they've built and how they've helped build each other up and do amazing things together. So watch for that. And that really helps tie everything we're doing together with employees, with customers, with the community. We've got this Bankers Trust Difference theme that we can all rally around. So again, a great lesson learned.
When I see that so much, so when I've had the good fortune to meet so many Bankers Trust employees through photographing and community events, and then as I meet them in one way or another, Bankers Trust is out there in the community, and this is something that I know you personally are. I mean, I feel like you're everywhere. I show up at an event and I'm like, where's Emily? I just need to see her. So tell me a little bit about that. When did that start for you?
Well, Bankers Trust is a community bank, and part of that is being out there in the community. I think I said that earlier, and so that's why it's such a great fit for me. I learned at a young age from parents who were super involved about the importance of giving back, and so I made that a priority right after college, and just got involved in a lot of things and learned a lot of things. Learned a great lesson after being in the Greater Des Moines Leadership Institute several years ago, and my team's heard me say this over and over, but explore a lot of stuff. Don't just go out there and join a board, because it typically requires a 3-year commitment, a leadership gift, and a lot of your time and energy, and you want to make sure that you're a good fit and you understand their mission and you're something you're passionate about. But after you've explored a lot of stuff, pick 2 or 3 and really dive deep. So for me at the time, it was Drake University and the Des Moines Community Playhouse.
You're an alum, right?
I absolutely are. Both my husband and I each have 2 Drake degrees. That's where we met. Go Bulldogs. So I just decided I'm going to pick 2 things that I really think helped get me to where I am. And I don't think I would be where I am today without the experiences I've had in my life with those 2 organizations. That gave me a reason to say, it's okay to say no when another organization asks, because I'm already doing this great work. But it also gives you the opportunity to really take on leadership roles, lead a committee, lead a board, and such. So I think that's been really rewarding. And just some advice that I like to give as well.
So I love this, it's okay to say no, but it's after you've decided, you've gotten really specific on what you can say yes to. Because I think when we're starting out in our communities, like I got here 2.5 years ago and I said yes to everything because I just had no idea. And I shouldn't have any idea. And young people or people who are starting their business, I always say, just get a taste of everything that Des Moines has to offer. Show up anywhere and everywhere you can. And this was the strategy I used. And I mean, there wasn't a night there for a couple weeks that I wasn't out just exploring whatever event or coffee or dinner date was proposed to me. And now that I've gotten a little bit of a grasp, and I'm still pretty early in this whole thing, I get to start saying like, no. And that's a very freeing thing as well, to know that I'm not just saying no, I'm saying no for a purpose, and I know where I fit in a little bit better.
Yeah, and I always say too, if you say no, think of someone else that might be interested.
Yes.
So I can't commit at this time because I'm committed to these 3 other things that are taking all of my time besides my family and my work. But here's 3 names of people that might be interested, or let me see if there's someone that works on my team that might have an interest that I could ask and then connect you with. So be a connector.
I love that. Be a connector. And I think, ooh, this is perfect. So when you tell me about how you might have gotten your job here at Bankers Trust.
Yeah, this is a fun story. So, through any kind of community leadership program, everyone always says, what's one of the differentiators of Des Moines? It's so easy to get involved, but it's also that any leader will meet with you.
Yeah.
So you can send a note or call any CEO in this community and ask for coffee date, and they'll say yes.
Yeah.
And I was in the paper for something several years ago, and I got a handwritten note in the mail from Sue Guradia, who was president and CEO of the bank at the time, that just said, great job. I'm really proud of you. This is a great accomplishment.
Had you met him before?
And I had met him, but I thought, wow, I don't know how he knows who I am. And that's really cool. And it was really meaningful to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
About 6 months later, I got another note from something that I was in the paper. And I just had this moment of, and I didn't know at the time that he sends about 100 of those a day. Sorry, Suku, don't want to out your secret.
But still, it takes time to do. I mean,
absolutely.
Like to be one of those, that's incredible.
So I thought I'm going to reach out to him and see if he'll have coffee with me. And, we had a great conversation and really got to know each other. And several meetings later, he let me know that he was thinking of creating a new position as his chief of staff and asked if I would be interested. And
I didn't know that's how that happened.
Yeah, so I always tell young people, you can't always guess what will come out of a quick meeting, and it's one of those times that the world's aligned and it worked out, but you might as well ask.
I love that. And coffee, I talk a lot about having coffee with people because I save space on my calendar for about 5 coffees a week, and those I commit to those. I love having those moments, and I will meet with pretty much anybody who says sometimes I'm the one reaching out. In the beginning, it was mostly me reaching out. Now I get to be on the receiving end of some of those, which is pretty cool to be able to pay that forward in whatever way that I can. But that's what I've found in the Des Moines community is that when you start investing, you get that back tenfold.
Absolutely.
I experienced that this morning when I reached out on Facebook and I had a shot back at my house 15 minutes later. Because
Katie's pretty awesome.
Katie, thank you so much. But I was thinking about that and I was like, that's no accident that happened.
Nope, we're a supportive group community and we like to lift each other up and do anything we can. And I'm fortunate to have Drake students reach out to me all the time that want to learn more. And an example of one, Maddie Gildersleeve, who was our awesome intern at Bankers Trust this past fall, was someone who reached out to me when she was a freshman, and now she's graduated from Drake and working in Chicago, and amazing. But if she had never reached out to me just to meet me and have coffee at Mars Cafe, we wouldn't have been connected, and I wouldn't have learned about her amazing self and wouldn't have had the opportunity to have her on our team for a while. So
I love that. So just taking that initiative to send that email.
Yep.
So
how many emails am I going to get today?
Right? Probably quite a lot.
Awesome. I'm up for coffee.
So what's happening with Bankers Trust moving forward? What are you most excited about?
Gosh, from a marketing perspective, our new campaigns, just really exciting and about to roll out, and we'll tease it, and we've got lots of phases and iterations planned. We're working on a rollout of a new website, which is pretty cool too.
Really? That's a big project.
And our summer branch events are really fun. But from an overall perspective, we've got an amazing leadership team that's committed to this community. Don Coffin is our CEO and president, and Don is just a great leader to work for and someone that I learn from every day, and someone that's just as committed to this community as we are and making it a better place. So
something I really love, every year you guys do volunteer awards for your internal team.
Yep.
So I've been fortunate to photograph those the past couple years.
Yeah.
And that's just it's an internal celebration of how much good work your employees do in this community. And I was staggered. You know, I'm just a fly on the wall photographing this while this happens. And they're talking about the hundreds of, combined, it's like thousands of hours towards the community that your bank supports.
You know, we have an amazing team, and when I joined the bank for several years, we've bragged and been really proud and loud about having 14,000 volunteer hours, and at the time we probably had about 400 employees. And so our team thought, I probably had a harebrained idea, it's 2017 and it's our centennial year, let's try to hit 17,000 hours. And we have some amazing members of our team. Christina Dark leads our volunteer efforts, and she came up with so many great ideas for like these awards, or like giving away gift cards to folks randomly for entering their volunteer hours online and tracking those for us. But also we created our honor roll. So any employee who hits 30 hours gets on the volunteer honor roll.
I love
because our goal was if every employee gave 30 hours, we'd hit that 17,000 hour goal. And we were blown away. We had over 18,000 hours. I know.
That's incredible.
So it was amazing.
That
and
is
we
incredible.
Won the Governor's Give Back Iowa Challenge for volunteerism, which I know this year's awards were just announced, and Governor Reynolds came to our campus and thanked our team, and we've decided we're shooting for 18,000 hours again this year, and I know our team is up for it. Yeah,
I'm sure they are. Well, and just the stories, and you guys, part of that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys give whoever won those employee awards, they were able to give a check to their favorite organization out of that. So it's just that continued modeling of giving. And I think that when I was thinking about where I wanted to do my banking business, that's something that's a huge value of mine in this community, is that giving back to the community is the core foundation of building my business. And when Bankers Trust displays that all the time, it's like, well, that's just a perfect fit.
You know, we give back more than $1 million each year, and that's probably one of the most fun parts of my job, is that we get to meet with these nonprofits that come in and tell us the great work that they're doing. And it just is wonderful. There's so many great nonprofits in our community.
Awesome.
So many.
Well, thank you for joining me today. This has been amazing, and we'll be back next week. Bye, guys.
Thank you.